end up hating each other because you ain't right for each other in the first place. If you base your relationship on sex, it's not gonna work. And if you mess around and have a baby, y'all gonna end up hating each other because you ain't right for each other in the first place. I want to share something with y'all that happened yesterday. And then I want to get into something that I feel like every man, every teenage boy, and young man should think about before they go out and have sex unprotected and potentially bring a child into this world. You know, as y'all know, I have two kids, a little boy and a little girl. You know, the greatest things that ever happened to me. I ain't never loved nobody as much as I love them two kids. And I can say that wholeheartedly, unequivocally. There is no statement that has ever been truer. I love my kids with everything in me. They're blessings. I don't look at my kids as baggage. They ain't holding me back. I love my kids, right? And the one thing that I never want to have to tell my kids is I can't. You know, there's one thing if my kids ask me for something, and I decide as an adult, as their dad, that no, you can't have that. But to be able to, for my child to ask me for something, and I physically can't give it to them, no matter how bad I want to give it to them, the fact that I can't give it to them, that's something that really hits you to the core as a man when you got kids, because you want to be there for your kids, especially coming from the environment that I came from. Pretty much, I would say in the neighborhood I grew up in, right? Let's just say around in my age group, right? Let's say the school bus pick us up. How many kids gonna be getting on that school bus with me in the morning? I used to ride the school bus. I would say there was maybe, let's say like 30 kids that used to get on the bus with me at my bus stop. I ain't even talking about the kids that I was friends with in school and all that, but just at my bus stop, let's say there was 30 kids waiting on the school bus to go to the same school in the morning. I would say out of all of those 30 kids, there might have only been like 3 or 4 kids that had a mama and a daddy at the house. You know, so when they talk about these statistics of being so high with the single parent rate in America, I ain't got a problem at all believing that them numbers are true, because in my life, you know, I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me get into my story. Yesterday, I had to go drop my kids off. I got 50-50 custody of my kids. So, time.
I have a lot of respect for this man for saying what he's saying, because it is true that especially in the urban Black community, sex is put at the forefront, you know, more than finding out if that person is right for you. Okay. I don't want to hear about the whataboutism about whites and Asians. Yeah, they got their issues probably with that too. And I wouldn't put it past them. Every man has this problem with lust and stuff like that. So I respect this man, because this is something that has to be talked about, you know, and, you know, going around having these sexual partners, sleeping from female to female, you do raise the possibility of getting these women pregnant and getting the wrong one pregnant.
Time sharing is the way we split our time sharing is like my kids stay with me 3 nights a week, and they spend the next 3 nights with their mom, and then we just rotate back and forth. So my rotation was over with yesterday. I had them for the whole weekend. I took the weekend off. It was my weekend off, and actually took the weekend off. Me and my kids had a good time. Went to the pool, went to my sister's house. They got to play with their cousins. Went, did a little shopping, all that. My son went to one of my nephew's baseball games with my mama. Everything was great. Real good weekend. So yesterday it come time for me to drop my kids off, right? I pull up to my kids' mom's house. I get out the car and start getting their stuff out the car to hand to their mom. My son grabbing his stuff. Then all of a sudden, I see my daughter. She got this real puzzled look on her face. I know it's something wrong with her because I know my daughter. She's a daddy's girl. So as I said, "What's wrong, mama?" And immediately, as soon as I asked her that, she burst out in tears like somebody was trying to physically harm her. She just bust out in tears, like snot coming out her nose, real tears. I bent down to, get on her level and, hug and all that type of stuff. She was crying so hard, tears got in my mouth. Imagine that. Just dripping off of her face, tears got in my mouth. That's how bad she was crying. So I'm asking, I'm like, "Baby, what's wrong?" She says, "I miss you." I ain't even left yet, but she missed me. I'm just not dropping off. I ain't even pulled out the driveway and left yet, but she missed me. So I'm sitting there trying to console her and everything. I tell her, "Baby, you want to go back home with me?" She said, "Yeah." But this the thing though. She said she want me to come get her tomorrow. She missed me now. She missed me. Right now she missed me. I asked her, "Baby, do you want to come home with me?" She said, "Yeah, but tomorrow." Why is my child saying that? Because she love her mama too. She want to be around her mama and she want to spend time with her mama too. So here I go, trying to console my baby and telling her, "Yeah, baby, I'll come get you tomorrow. I'll come get you. Don't cry, baby. It's going to be okay. Just stay the night with your mama. I'll come get you tomorrow." That's what she wanted, right? Guess what she said? "Why you just can't stay here? Why you just can't stay the night with me?" You know what I had to tell my daughter? "I can't, baby." Me having to tell my daughter that made me emotional. When I pulled off and I'm thinking about that, it made me emotional. I'm getting emotional talking about it now. That's the thing. That's one of the things I really never hear a man talk about. We talk about the child support aspect of it, and we can talk about that because I had my experience with that.
Unfortunately, that's a lot of men's experiences when they have kids with a woman that they're no longer with anymore. And, the mother will try to be difficult. You want to take the kid out for a weekend or spend a couple of days, and the heartbreaking thing is like when you hear the kid say, "I want you to, can I come with you? Can I come with you home, daddy?" And you can't take them. And, difficulty, the baby mama drama and stuff like that. And once again, I respect this man so much for saying and speaking his truth, because I think I've been saying this as well. All right, let's keep going.
I'm on child support right now, but it ain't because I wasn't taking care of my child that I ended up on child support. So understand, deadbeats ain't the only ones that end up on child support. So let's go ahead and make that clear. I done seen somebody point that out in the comments before, trying to insinuate that I was some kind of deadbeat dude. I've been in my kids' life. I actually watched them come out of their mom, and I've been in my kids' life ever since. And I've been financially responsible for my kids ever since they first touched down, even before, because you got to buy the clothes and the bassinets and all that junk before. But anyways, that ain't what this video about. But men don't talk about the psychological aspect, the psychological damage that we do to our kids when we out here just having sex, not thinking about the consequences that come behind it. You know, this right here, what I just experienced, is one of the main reasons why I'm not one of these guys that promote men just using women, having sex, getting what you want out of them, and going on about your business. I have seen the dark side of what can happen to not only your kid's mom, but what happened to your kids by you doing that. Because make no mistake about it, if you out here having sex with a bunch of different women, eventually you're gonna slip up. Now you can talk about plan B. You know, I done seen skits. People dudes talking about, yeah, go ahead and take this plan B. You can talk about plan B. You can talk about abortions. You can talk about all that. But understand this. The more sex you have, the more chance, if you being irresponsible, for you to impregnate somebody. And you need to not only think about the whole aspect of child support and all that, but you need to think about what your kids are going to go through and what they're going to experience from you being irresponsible. A man has all the control during one part of the relationship, one part of the interaction between a man and a female. A man has all of the control after the consent is, after you get consent. You have all the control before you penetrate a woman. After that, all the control falls in that woman hand. And if you ain't having sex with somebody that ain't right for you, that's right for you. If you having sex with one of your one night stands and y'all don't really know each other like that, y'all ain't even in a relationship, you just seen her, she's sexy and you want some. If you having a relationship with a sexual relationship with a woman like that, somebody that you know for a fact you would not choose to be your wife, you are playing Russian roulette. Because if that woman end up getting pregnant and she decide I'm not taking no plan B, and on top of that I'm not having no abortion for whatever reason it is, if it's a religious reason, or maybe she just want a child, maybe she trying to keep you, I don't know what the reason would be for a woman to not get an abortion, because people got their whole, their own reasons, But if that woman decides,
thing is like I couldn't be okay with abortion because the psychological damage it does to women. A lot of women don't talk about it, but the psychological damage with the abortion, and this psychological damage, what it does to the man. Okay, they don't talk about this. You have to find the research about this, but abortion hurts the man and the woman. Plus the fact that they rip the baby piece by piece out of the mother's stomach. That's a brutal, violent way to end a life of a baby. I just see babies as beautiful, and I could never do that. I'd just rather just grit my teeth and take care of my kid. That's me. Let's keep going.
She keeping that child, you are along for the ride. There's nothing you can say or do to get any kind of control in that situation. If the relationship don't work out and y'all end up having to go y'all separate ways, you're gonna have to spend a portion of your income to take care of that child, no matter if the child lives with you or not. Your child gonna have 2 wardrobes. Your child gonna have 2 sets of Pampers. Your child gonna have 2 sets of formula. Your child gonna have 2 sets. In some cases, your child gonna have to have 2 different birthdays. Because some of us have such toxic relationships with our kids' parents that we can't even stand to be around each other to last a full birthday party with each other. I experienced that for my own self. So believe me when I tell you, it's possible. Just think about all the money that's wasted from you having to buy 2 sets of everything. If you have a woman that wants to make you fight for custody of your children, that is not cheap. have to spend thousands of dollars. Trust me when I tell you, I told you, I got 50-50 custody of my kids. People don't willingly go to court and ask for 50-50 custody of their kids. They would rather deal with that situation outside of the courts. You want to know why? Because it's expensive. And then number two, in my opinion, if we go half on a baby, we should, even if the relationship break up, we should still share equal roles in the kids' lives. It's not a matter of being in control or anything like that. It's just purely from a standpoint of your kid is going to need both of his parents. The ideal situation is to be married and have your children with a woman that you have a healthy relationship with, and vice versa. Don't be like me. I'm trying to tell you. Do not put yourself in that predicament where you end up having a split family and you got to raise your kids from two different households and you can't get along with your kid's mom. Make sure you are dealing with women that you can see a future with. Get to know the women that you have sex with. Don't be out here just spraying your seed everywhere, because I'm telling you, not only from a monetary stance, like I said, just the situation that your kids gonna have to grow up in is enough to make a man should make a man never want to be in that situation. Because, like I said, man, my daughter looked like she was traumatized yesterday, man, and it's my fault that she going through that. Imagine how that made me feel. And I ain't just saying this because I just want to appeal to your good nature. I'm telling you some real stuff, bro. I feel like every child, I feel like every young man that's at a sexually active age needs to hear this type of message. Ain't nobody tell me this aspect of it before I had kids. I was 28 when I had kids. I was a grown man, but nobody had ever said anything to me about what I'm talking about. The only thing I had ever heard about a man and a woman having kids is that you can end up on child support. I done heard men talk about child support in the barbershop all the time. You know, I done heard men tell me, I told my baby mama if she ever put me on child support, she ain't getting nothing else out of me. All that. That's the type of stuff I used to hear from men. Nobody never told me, hey, the psychological aspect of having children out of wedlock and having children with somebody that's not right. So I saw a comment on the last video that I put out, the one I was talking about, the most important advice single mothers need to know about dating. I saw a comment in that video that made me feel like, yeah, I need to talk about this. On top of the fact that that situation happened with me yesterday, it's like it was perfect timing. Maybe it's a sign. It was a sign that I needed to talk about this. But shout out to you. I forgot your name, but whoever commented on that last video talking about, asked the question, why don't men talk about how important it is to guard your seed or something to that effect? You the inspiration behind this video. Shout out to you. But yeah, man, I just wanted to share that with y'all because it's important. And in my experience, men don't really talk about that aspect of having a child. So I wanted to be the one to give this perspective to my brothers and put it out there. Hey, this is the type of stuff that go on. You got to think about your children. I know we always see in the media, whatever the case may be, we always see the message of child support, custody, family court, the court system ain't fair to the men, and this and that and this and that. But also you got to think about the fact that us just having the urge to have sex and not really paying attention to what we doing and having self-control and dealing with women that we can actually see ourselves in relationships with, us not doing those things, being careful about what we do with our, you know what I'm saying, causes a lot of trauma in these kids' lives. And we may not, I know for a fact that I never thought about that aspect of it. Before I had kids, that never crossed my mind because I didn't have kids to think about that about. I mean, before, but we got to be proactive with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I feel one of the biggest contributors to the single parent rate being so high is because we really don't put a lot of focus on choosing the right woman to be with. We live in that lifestyle. Like, for one,
I think this goes for this people, whether you've been divorced or you're a single parent, because sometimes you could pick to get the wrong woman pregnant being married. Wrong woman you marry, and things just fall apart. And now you're split up, two different households, and the same situation could be the same like this guy right here. And much respect for this guy for talking about this particular topic. I think a lot of men who are fathers can relate to this.
Let me just say this. In our society, sex is way too big of an influence on us. I can see exactly why the Bible say have sex after marriage. Because having sex before marriage, like just having sex, period. Once you have sex with somebody, it clouds your mind. Your ability to make good decisions goes out the window most of the time. When you got sex on your mind, you ain't, you're not responsible. It's just like being under the influence of a drug. You will go out there and make some bad decisions when you get real horny. You know what I'm saying? Let's be grown about it. Everybody made some bad decisions when they was horny. You done called an ex that you know you shouldn't have been calling. You done did all of that in the past just because you had that urge. And it's done messed us up. And then on top of that, like that person that commented on that video said, we not having these kind of conversations that we need to be having. Men just out here, we in the music and all that, we popularize having a bunch of women, having a bad chick, a dime, she got a big booty, all this. We gotta stop doing that, man. We gotta be conscious of what we are doing when we out here having all this sex. You know? And I ain't trying to seem like I'm holier than thou and all that. I'm telling you from experience. The reason I'm in this situation I'm in is because I wasn't thinking clearly. I made some bad decisions as far as letting sex control who I dealt with and vice versa. Me and my kids' mom, if we really would have paid attention to what we had going on, we would have saw that we weren't right for each other. But sex came into the picture too soon. Next thing you know, we just, hey, y'all know how grown-ups do. So I just wanted to share that with y'all, man. I hope y'all take some from this video. I know a lot of y'all always say that I only speak to women in my videos, but that's because most of my audience is women, you know. And I'm trying to be, fairly, somewhat split in my messages or whatever, because I feel like men got a lot of work to do, women got a lot of work to do, and most of these platforms, they're split. They're either all for women and against men, or all for men and against women. So I just wanted to share my story with y'all so that y'all can hopefully take something from it and think about that before you go out next weekend or the night or whatever and go ahead and lay up with somebody that you know you ain't right for. Think about what could possibly happen.
Dude talking the truth. Dude is talking the truth. And yeah, us men, we do make some bad decisions when we're not thinking with the right head. or we lonely, we depressed, we looking for things like maybe certain things in our lives are not going right, and we would look for sex sometimes to ignore the obstacle we got to face, and end up smashing a woman we shouldn't be smashing. So he's basically telling the truth. I don't have a problem with this guy so far. He's trying to have a balanced message, not trying to be a Derek Jackson. I respect the dude.
Because, like I said, all the control is in your hands before you penetrate that one. And if you with somebody, you having sex with somebody that you know you ain't right for, just cut it off. If you base your relationship on sex, it's not gonna work. And if you mess around and have a baby, y'all gonna end up hating each other because you ain't right for each other in the first place. That's all I'm gonna say on this one, man. I appreciate y'all for watching this long. Thank y'all for subscribing to my channel if you ain't already did it.
All right. I respect this dude and everything he said. I agree. Okay. A lot of people get mad and but he's telling the truth. I don't see a problem with it. Some people will still get mad with what he's saying, but I agree with it. And us men have to be careful. It's just proven more and more that abstinence is key. People are gonna get mad with that, but the reality is, abstinence is key. And just waiting, because when you have, like what he said, and I agree, and I've said this too, when you have sex, it blinds you to the person's personality and who they are. When the sex is gone, then you see the person for who they are. And you may or may not like them, and then you may end up hating each other. And this is just facts. When you take the sex out of the equation, you see the person for who they are, and you can make an honest assessment. Do I stay with this person? Do I make a serious relationship, or do I leave? And that's basically what it is. In our society, we make sex way too much of a big deal. Way too much. We focus on sex too much. And that's an issue. All right, on to the next story. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Later.